Greetings, I am Lies and I use she, her.
And I am Scandal and I use they, them.
And
let's play a game together!
Let's find out about the lily pads together. It's surprisingly soft. It sinks under my weight, making ripples in the water. To the next, then the one after, they bounce under me, springing back when my weight is lifted. It'd be really weird if they stopped floating just because you stepped on them. Just saying.
I mean, it would be reasonable, though, too, because sometimes... No, they're really strong. I mean, depending on how old and how big, they might actually be like, goodbye, I'm done now. Goodbye, I collapse.
Well, if they're buoyant rather than supported. They should still be buoyant. The near silence, the glittering water, dazzles me into a world all my own.
I am transfixed.
I forget that Asra is behind me completely.
Oh, shit.
On the sudden whim, now I remember him.
Oh, shit, Asra.
I look back to Asra.
I trip.
How did he get so far away?
Him, amaze.
Why does he look so
Stressed.
Stressed. I only took a few steps and his expression has changed dramatically.
A few steps. I have gone off into a world of my own, of hopping around. He's just a few steps. God, he's so far away. Kohai, make up your mind.
Kohai, it looks like you took many steps, but I assume in this case magic is involved.
Probably.
It sounded like you took more steps than you were paying attention to, though, because what you were describing versus what you were noticing sounded different.
Mm-hmm.
He's still. His apprehensive gaze is like ice down my neck. Keep moving. I turn, stepping off one buoyant pad to the next. I'm not supposed to look back? I suppose.
I mean, he did say keep moving forward.
You're probably not supposed to. When you are on collapsing platforms, you do not hold still.
I'm sorry, this Mega Man game, you will die on that platform if you are dumb.
This Mario game, just
yes,
all
exactly.
of them. You stand on the platform.
Stop.
They are all sinking while you stand on them. You must get off. Don't they have that, like, also in, like, Donkey Kong, like, and like Spyro, like sinking lava platforms, and they don't necessarily like fall out and respawn, but they just will get covered in lava.
Right, and then they'll pop back up again. Yeah.
Once you're dead or gone,
or basically off the platform. Yeah.
I'm not supposed to look back, but I sense that the steps are getting longer, the plants under my feet wider.
I guess, like I'm saying, it sounds like you're going quite a fucking distance.
It also sounds like you're taking several steps across each of the plants.
Actually, to me,
then between them.
It sounds like you're going, and the steps are getting longer. You're only taking one step between each one?
I don't know.
I'm panicking. Now it's bad. I might have to do 2 steps on a lily pad instead of 1.
Well, also, it doesn't say the steps between them, so it's not suggesting they're getting farther apart. And it's specifically, it kind of sounds like it might be, but then it specifies the plants under you are getting bigger, which doesn't necessarily make them farther apart, just makes you have to walk on them longer. Anyway, when I reach the lily pad in the center, it takes 3 steps to reach the flower. So yeah, big. Is that important? And the bloom fills both my hands.
So I instantly am going for it, rather than thinking at all. As Asra said, do not think.
The bloom would fill both of my hands, but I have already picked it up.
Because that's what that means.
And
that means I have... Da-da-da-da! You have acquired flower!
Yes. As the petals draw me in with their sacred geometry. You had to say that. I'm sorry.
You had to say sacred... Also, I'm like, wait a minute. Did you actually study this thing, then? And the sacred geometry? So that is such a... Oh, it's fine.
I feel the waxy skin beneath my feet begin to shake. How do we know they feel waxy? We've been wearing shoes, because it hasn't said we're not wearing shoes. And we've not described...
Do we regularly walk on waxy things?
And we've described them as being flexible and buoyant, but not the actual texture of them. So unless we've just taken off our shoes... Actually, it takes a really long time to get across these as I pull off my shoes while I'm walking. We haven't touched any of them. How do we know they're waxy?
I don't know, bro.
Did we touch the lily pad on our way to touch the flower?
Oh, maybe.
Reaches down, does not think about touching lily pad, but does so and intakes texture, then grabs a flower.
And then goes, oh no, the waxy flower that I realize I have now assessed is waxy. Which can happen.
I feel the waxy skin beneath my feet begin to shake. Take the flower, smell the flower. I take the flower. I don't know. I pluck the flower, pulling with both hands. The stem snaps, curling back. I was not given instructions? Why would I be told? Why is that a time choice? I am so confused. A reedy whine comes from the plant as its shivering makes the water start to churn.
Oh, that might have been a bad choice.
That sounds like a bad time. I shift my footing uneasily, casting a desperate glance back at Asra. The distance between us again has multiplied. I can only just make out his features.
Because I have 20/20 vision.
Because I have really good eyes. Because
Beautiful.
the thing is, it can be very difficult from any notable distance to make out someone's facial expression clearly. So I have really good vision.
He has multiplied. Dude.
I can't just see his posture or him, but I can just barely see his features and expression. So he's not really that far away.
He's leaning like this. The rest of his body is back, his head is forward.
His figure is frozen in panic. About to crack and come to my rescue? No. I want him to give me a chance to try and help myself. It's been so long since I've used this spell. What spell?
What spell?
Take a deep breath and let it last. Do we smell the flower now that we're breathing deep?
I have no idea.
I draw in a great lungful of air and visualize it spreading to the tips of my toes. I'm going to make myself into a balloon.
Bless
Pardon.
you.
Goodness.
Also a balloon that does not like the air.
I was to say, the pollen got to me.
How dare.
Just as the lily pad under my feet is sucked into the water below. Well, I'm submerged in water. It's clearer than air. My body looks strangely distant. You can see your body? Like all of it?
Okay.
The pool is warm, much deeper than it looked. A shadow moves over me. Asra is reaching for me from above with both arms. I guess my spell did not do anything and I was not good at using it. Drawing me through the water into his loose embrace. Is he on a lily pad? Red silk ripples along his shoulders and neck as grasping fingers pull me close. He still looks deeply worried, which I can see easily because the water is even clearer than the air.
I see.
But why he looks so concerned? Am I holding onto the flower? I don't even remember. His eyes gleam as they search my face, looking for signs to confirm his hope. His hope of what? I'm fine. Don't need to breathe. Oh, we weren't trying to float. We were trying to magically hold our breath. And also not
I don't
swim?
know. We're deeply, apparently not. I feel like, so the thing we probably missed was clearly something that would have given you more context for what the fuck you're doing, which seems weird. It seems like a decision. Seems like a choice.
I mean,
But
he
I'm also just like,
deliberately
it doesn't-
didn't want us to know what we were doing. Like, he specifically was mysterious about this.
Mm-hmm.
So we didn't know what we were doing.
Congratulations.
It's just
but
go
you know,
to
you
flower.
should clearly know what you're doing. Because
But also, I haven't used this spell,
I've trained you, except that I've never wanted to train you, and I've resented it the whole time.
and I don't like answering questions because it makes me uneasy.
And also that I literally, also based on how he interacts with us, I would actually say he's probably really never answered many of our questions.
Anyway, I'm guessing that the spell was to make it so we didn't need to breathe because we multiplied the oxygen within us, and we don't think about swimming at all for reasons.
Shrug.
I
We don't know how to swim.
Maybe we are clutching the flower with both hands and we can't swim without our arms.
That is actually true. Some people don't know how to swim without their arms.
Fine. I don't need to breathe. When he's sure, his eyes soften. When he's sure that I don't need to breathe?
What?
That's good. Hands coming to rest on either side of my face.
This is really fucking. Yes, you will not drown. Excellent.
Pearlescent hair twists fluidly through the water.
Does he have pearlescent hair? I
his
thought it was just white.
Gleaming eyes. He looks so proud. We are both completely submerged in the water. I hope he also doesn't need to breathe. Or perhaps you can hold your breath without magic. Is that a thing? I have this idea. Okay, I need to share a headcanon that I've been developing recently of this idea that while Asra can be very difficult to, have answer questions, he does get in moods where he's feeling very descriptive or explanatory about things, and I just get this idea that in his, eagerness to try and teach you things so you won't need him anymore, but also so he can cover his bases and not feel guilty or responsible for you not being equipped for life, that he taught you magic for everything, even things that could be solved with really normal actions.
You know how you could solve that? By walking. Do you know what we're not going to do? Walking.
You know what you can do? Breathe in and hold your breath. You know, we're going to cast a spell for
We're going to
that.
cast a spell for
You know what
breathing.
this is? This is shoelaces. Most 3-year-olds learn to tie them. You know what? You're going to tie them with magic.
You know what you're going to do? Wear slippers.
Magically created slippers.
You know what you're going to do? Wear bed sheets all day. You're never going to, and then you're always going to clean yourself, but you can only wear bed sheets.
You know, when food is really hot and you could take small bites and blow on it, I'm going to teach you a magic spell to cool off each bite.
The most roundabout, obnoxious. No wonder he needs to go out and go get spell components all the time. Shit, we run through this stuff so fast. I don't know how to do anything. I can't walk out the door. I have to do a spell specifically so I can move a foot forward.
Okay, so Kohai, who has really long hair, right? And then like
Corazon somewhere. I told you.
I use 900 spells, but they're better than his.
So much better.
Anyway, so you have this experience where Kohai has very long hair.
I need to poop, so I suddenly become a Hufflepuff with fucking J.K. Rowling. And I go to the bathroom, wherever it is, and I just...
Magic it away!
Magic it away!
I was gonna say, and so like, he's like, your hair is tangled. And instead of introducing you to a hairbrush, he's like, let me teach you a detangling spell.
This sounds so deeply goofy.
It sounds like panic though. Like, I must fix it immediately and give you a permanent way to fix it under all conditions, no matter what. But I forgot to equip you with the base skill.
Can you imagine there's some, though, like apprentice where he's desperately trying to do, going like, here, I'll teach you a spell. And they're like, how about I just walk? Like when he's not around, they're like, I can just swim. No, you can't do it. And they're like, okay, so I learn.
No, you
with Asra, this is when we pretend that all we know how to do it is with magic. And then when I'm by myself, the reason he and I didn't connect is because I just don't want to do magic for everything. You can just walk, Asra. No, you need to...
I can just get
you
in
need
the water
to do the Segway spell.
and float. Nope. You know what? I'm just gonna put my shoes by the fireplace. No,
And a spine spell. So you can stand.
You're gonna die. Anyway, so that's my thought recently. Of just the detangling spell, the hold your breath spell, the change your clothes spell,
The clean your clothes. Probably.
The clean your clothes, clean yourself spell. Because you don't know how to take a bath. You just learned the clean everything spell.
I really loved it. Again, this is why Asra and I never really got along.
He looks so proud.
He looks so proud. You used a spell, I taught you! Yay!
I hope we're holding on to that goddamn flower.
I do too. I know how to do it.
You know what? They could have just erased the flower. It could have been hilarious.
Honestly, it'd been very funny.
Just takes out the middle lily pad. It's just gone because it sank. And the picture's otherwise identical. We break the surface because he couldn't just reach into the water and grab me. He had to dive in after me.
I thought he wasn't supposed to help you at all. Isn't this breaking the rules?
He might be, but it's okay. I don't mind because I don't know what they are because he didn't tell me. We break the surface and the rules and paddled for shore to collapse against a smooth, warm rock. I could not swim until he came to get me.
A smooth, warm rock in the middle of a smooth, wet, dark,
cave.
Cold cave.
It's okay.
I'm fine.
Wiping my eyes, I look out at the flower in the center of the pond, which I did not hold on to. It is just as it was before. Water laps at my waist as I roll onto my back, and Asra's heavy breath hitches with laughter.
You fell for it! Why? You remembered! You almost died! I was so worried. All I want to do is hold you!
Tension drips from his body as he leans over me, as we are touching the smooth, warm rock, and I am realizing that I didn't maybe do any of what I did. And I picked a flower, but I didn't get it, and I don't even know if I know what it smells like, even though I was close enough to, without smelling it, smell it. Do you know you don't actually have to smell a flower to smell a flower?
Especially if they're very smelly.
Especially if they're fragrant.
They're very fragrant. I'm sorry.
Like, so most of the time when I notice flowers, like, in the wild, it is because I smell them first.
Yes.
Actually, it is the hang on, I smell flowers.
And as far as I understand, lotus specifically are actually one of those that have a very strong smell.
But this is a fake lotus, remember? So it may not.
Well, it has the divine symmetry.
It has sacred geometry.
Sacred geometry. I just...
Tension, like water, drips from his body as he leans over me.
I cough as Chinese water tortures me.
Somehow, he is above me, even though we were side by side. I guess...
On a warm rock that must be the size of, like, whatever, so he could roll over on top of me.
It's okay.
So he'd lean over me.
He arranges us so I am underneath him and he is over top of me. It happens. Hold me? Or not? I wouldn't say hold me, I just let him hold me. If he's going to do it, he's going to do it without me telling him. Would he not?
Especially, like, because being direct with Asra, like, language-wise, seems to freak him out. So wouldn't you just hug him, maybe?
It does seem
or you just...
to be off-putting
you become... You reach out, go...
I'm going to say, hold me would happen with body language.
Uh-huh.
That would be... Kohai just being like, that doesn't sound right. That would be way too direct. You would just... Body language, the receptiveness. I am over you. I am panting. I am tense. It is thick and oozing between us.
You staring. When did this build-up happen? I don't care. It's Asra. Like, actually, I have to say, okay, so totally, I'm really confused where the fuck this came from.
Me too.
I'm wondering again, like, this is what makes me feel like, again, the other choice was probably, quote, the better one in regards to how the story is, quote, supposed
just
to work.
Just smell flower.
Which I don't know why. Because clearly you're supposed to go for the flower, and it's like, then what are you supposed to do with the flower as a lily pad is collapsing underneath you? My reaction would be the same. You just pull it up, right? Because you're supposed to collect... It sounded like you were going for a power-up on top of an object, okay? Like, what are you doing?
Yeah, the goal seems to be go to flower, and if the only action... Like, there's so many things you can do with flowers. No, you assume that all you're supposed to do is sniff. What?
I could drown. Sniff it.
Well,
drown? Sniff! 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 I'm going...
Sniff for your life! Well, the thing is you could say, okay, so they're a magical person. Do they understand that magical things sometimes behave differently than real things if you interact with them in a way that isn't the logical choice under real circumstances?
I would like to have known that.
Yeah, that would be a thing to learn. Anyway, because Kohai wants to be as close to Asra as possible at all times. I'm getting the impression, solidly, with how much Asra does shaking and tension and overwhelm instantly, that he is like 9,000% attracted to Kohai and/or the MC.
I mean...
And he is restraining himself at all times, period.
I've got to tell you, that was our reaction basically when we initially played the prologue. Remember? We were like, holy shit, like,
he has straight out just confessed to you.
And he is like, Everybody else, you could just kind of be like,
Everybody
a little bit saucy.
He's the anime boy that just shakes in, like, restraint and desire when you touch him. Pip.
Yeah, pretty much. Okay, so we're going to pause for 2 seconds.
And find out where the end of this thing is.
And then when we come back, we will talk a little bit.
Yep, hold on. Alrighty. We have done our research, and we have an awareness of where this scene generally ends, and we're going to do our best. And we are going to... So based on our agreement with Nix Hydra and the rules of this playthrough, we're about to enter cover-up art territory.
Yes, and our cover-up artist for this playthrough is Draconesha.
Yes.
There are many links to them down in the description down below if you'd like to check them out and support the artist. That would be very much appreciated.
Mm-hmm. They do commissions. They're very reasonable.
Yes, they are incredibly reasonable. In fact, they are far too cheap. But you know what? Damn it, they are worth your money. So please feel free to check them out.
They're fabu. They also do really good Arcana art.
Yes,
so
they actually specifically do Arcana-like style commissions. Mm-hmm. So if you want to have a main character
with
like
your
sprite, they will totally do it. They also do, as far as I know, they might do premium CG, like sort of imitation scenes as well. So that could be fun. Check that out.
At any rate, we're also going to be ad-libbing everything in the scene so that we do not read any of the exact phrasing, as it is copyrighted to Nix Hydra and protected in the secrecy of a paywall.
I guess, yes. All right,
so here we go.
Boink!
So Asra has just requested to, I just want to hold you.
And then you go,
Kohai is like, then hold me?
Except that as we've agreed, we would probably be far more physical about it.
Kohai is just receptive and kind of like grins at him and, that sort of like gently wiggles
arms.
Now, I cannot figure out how we're positioned, but this could be hilarious.
This could be really funny.
All right.
Stun. That's just a stunned
Asra
face.
is silenced.
And then he giggle, but it's so beautiful, it's so clear. It's like glass that is made out of a certain substance
It
that just
chimes.
ripples through the entire area.
Space, yep.
Yes. And then he's like, oh,
Oh, is that possible?
Ada,
Will you allow it?
Ada, is it allowed?
Uh-huh.
And he's like, oh, God.
My best day ever.
Oh, God, I have just earned the lottery. Boing.
What a chance.
And then, of course, somehow
Very-
now his
Suavely,
hand
he
is
decides
moved.
to wrap Kohai in his embrace.
But now it has put us where actually we are almost breathing like directly on top of each other is what it sounds
Yep.
like.
So his face is right next to Kohai's. Like you
Right
would see-
there.
you would get that thing where you get the one eye with your friend when your faces are really close
Yes!
together.
I love playing that game sometimes when you're looking at someone, you're like, okay, I get too close to you, and then I have to like switch eyes, and it's really funny how it like actually changes
If
your
you've
perception.
never played the nose game, like it's a thing I haven't done since I was a little kid, but you put your nose together with someone else and you look straight into their eyes, and the way your vision functions, it will make them look like they have one eye, but if you tip your head side to side, you can see both of them.
Uh-huh.
And so you're doing that with Asra.
Yeah, that's pretty
But
much
you
right.
know,
You are,
romantic.
your vision is literally filled with Asra's face.
Uh-huh.
Like, that's how we have to do.
And
While also being on the rock, apparently we have fluid that is from the lake,
We're
the
still
pond,
in the
whatever.
pool.
We're still in the water.
I'm getting the impression that
That
we
is
came
incredibly see-through.
to the edge of the water and we just put our arms up on this rock, and that's all. Because like certainly much of the rest of us is still inside of the pool.
Okay.
Also, even though we are still having our faces this close together, we can see the other side of Asra, like his down his spine and
Yeah,
to
the-
his towards his booty.
Uh-huh. And
that
that's
it is
actually...
damp and glittery and attractive.
But also, like, we have observed that there's literally water. It's not, like, directly between you. It's on your footies, and it's on your calves, and it's on your thighs, possibly.
Mm-hmm.
Which is, like, so that's not just your arms being up here. That's, like, you put your whole torso
you
up
got
on the
out
rock.
of the water mermaid style.
Yeah, okay.
Got it.
And Asra compliments you, going, good job.
Yes.
Everything's going so well. Basically that.
Tells you that you are fabulous.
And then he chides himself a
skilled.
little bit, going like, God, I guess I just had
Concerned.
worrisome thoughts. I was concerned. And
for no reason.
for no reason.
Mm-hmm.
And then he's like, God, he again admonishes himself a little bit, being like, you know what? One of
Eventually.
these days, I will really be able to grow up and stop seeing you as incapable. I will stop not seeing you actually as you are.
I will stop thinking that you are still baby and realize that you are powerful.
That you are more powerful than I want you to be.
Uh-huh.
And
then
then-
Kohai describes that he is looking upon
Well,
them.
describes that his eyeballs, they are very silky, and they have a lovely gaze that just smooths over you, and it's fantastic.
That he just admiring and just sort of seeing every bit of Kohai, even though noses still close together as far
Yeah.
as we can tell.
Exactly.
I
It sounds
say-
like it's
and
just your
also,
face, though.
he has gripped onto Kohai tightly, smooshing their bodies together.
So, and it is very much this particular phrase that I'd be like, this is a lead up to a makeout / a
Like,
intimate
this
or
is-
sexual encounter.
The entire fronts of your bodies are firmly
Smashed.
together.
Basically, there's no space between you.
Yes.
And he is like just
Cool.
satisfied. I would call it probably a satisfied, like, kind of purr
As
or
he
murmur.
makes a very pleased noise.
And then he says this to you, murmuring quietly, of just being like, addressing this and being like, yeah, it's real nice to be able to do the grippy grab.
This is a good time with you, being so close. Then,
Apparently, Astra do a titty stare.
as I say, he just look down and check out your pecs.
I
or
love
your
also
boobs.
the implication as well of going like, you look down at your chesticle area, whatever that look like, because
Yep.
everybody have different thing, whatever.
Yep.
And apparently somehow, even though he has black eyelashes in every single illustration, he has white eyelashes here, and somehow that manages to hide his eyeballs of where his gaze goes, despite the fact that we can totally tell what he's looking at, which is our chesticle.
Well, the thing is he looks down at Kohai's really ample bosom, in fact, because that is how they are endowed.
Oh, well, and the thing is so for our character, Kohai has quite an amount of chest.
Mm-hmm, they do.
They are one of those femme-presenting imbis that has a very like larger body type overall.
Mm-hmm, and a lot of chest.
And a lot of chest.
And so Asra just looked down and just eyes get lost in the cleavage, like consumed.
I am here now. That's also why I'm like, how did you're just like, I'm gonna look down and I'm like, especially if you're mushing, it doesn't really take... Asra, how small do you think the character is?
So one, this actually works better with Kohai's build than with other possible characters. Say you had this delicate, tiny little nymphette, and your chests are pressed together. If he would look down, he would see nothing. But with a large, full bosom, there is that space between you. Right. It's just basically pressing together, pulls up the cleavage for a better view. He looks down slightly, he's like, my face is almost in it. Whoa.
He's like, they're the shelf bosom.
Wow.
I could put my head here and sleep.
Wow.
I could lay here and sleep. Somewhere, I imagine Faust going, yes, sleep place.
Comfy. All right.
And then Asra, while looking down at your chesticles, is just like, God, this has been so hard on me. God, what if I could ever have this opportunity again? So you're like, are you really just like eyeballing me like this aggressively and just being like, God, if only this could happen again?
I actually had been thinking about if it would ever happen again, suggesting it's happened before. Yes, suggesting this has all happened before.
He'd be like, it's been such torture, especially with like his little blush face. She's like, I'm so embarrassed, but I really wanted to stick my face in your titties. Because that's where we are.
In the case of our character's particular build, that is what he is thinking.
Especially since it hasn't said that he's looked back up at you. So
it does not.
Seems like he's losing his shit.
All right, now it says that he has moved his his head a bit because
he's doing something that I would literally punch him in the goddamn face for.
So
I have a huge sensory problem with water going in my ears, and here it's saying that Asra is going to smash his face against your face, and he's got completely soaked ass hair, and so his hair is running has all the water is running all over the side of your face and into your ear. So basically across your ear. So I would punch him in the face.
So yes, he is nuzzling the side of the face really like. But the water's still streaming off him as if he just came up out of the pool.
Yeah, I would kill him.
Yeah, and it really is specifically described as it trails across, your hearing apparatus.
The shell of your ear just has water. I would kill him. My friend has actually specifically heard me scream, but I've gotten out of a shower sometimes, and I'm sitting around for a bit, and finally enough water basically builds up, and it will drip down into my ears because it's cold enough in the house or whatever.
And you're just like,
and I'm like, I go running and then going, Q-tip, save me!
Yes. Anyway, there is nuzzling and dampening.
Quite.
Then, Kohai wonders why he's not doing something more. And it doesn't say what, but there is a curiosity of basically, why has he restrained himself?
Why is there restraint?
Why is there a hesitation?
Like I said, this to me is based on my coding and my language that I understand from fan fiction, also reading novels, fantasy, sci-fi, and other things. I'm like, this is very much leading to a, why is he resisting making out with me or having sex with me?
Okay.
Like, this is the language I'm used to. Even when I have casually flipped through romance novels, this is the language.
So the interesting thing is there is the nuzzling and the holding
and the intimacy,
tightly.
And we have no space between our bodies.
And the first thing Kohai thinks here is, why isn't he doing more?
Why no proceeding? And
What
like,
makes him hold back? And I'm not sure. I can only assume it must be what my friend is thinking.
Yes.
But I'm also like, Kohai, what do you want him to do?
Right.
And then this query in their own head of going,
oh God,
would Asra suspect that I would turn him down?
For the hugs?
And
or the cuddles?
This amount of gripping and clasping together and pressing our bodies against each other, we've done it before.
So you guys have totally made out before?
Or he's at least panted aggressively and nuzzled on us
and
while holding us really close to his body.
And our bodies are both very damp.
Yep.
Moist.
In this case, they're moist, but they may not have been moist before.
Okay.
We're not saying it was an identical situation. But anyway, so that's what Kohai wonders, going, why?
Oh, wait! And then there's a slight amendment of going like, oh God, but I do have to say, this is actually more intense than those times before. Not with, wow, the space between us just being completely gone. Our bodies flush against each other.
Yeah, basically...
Smash, oblivion, there's nothing.
I say Asra is holding so strongly that you guys have become a ziplock together.
You're the baggie.
There is no air between you.
You're
There is no
saran wrap.
water between you. You have been vacuum sealed to each other.
Yes, I mean, you are wet.
And then...
Oh, and now he's doing the lippy, like,
Nim, 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 nim,
like, but not kissing. It's specifically the lip sort of, brushing.
Yeah, brushing.
On
the side of
down
your face.
over the side of your face. And then, like, he apparently just barely tugs his head
Leans away.
just so he can
Stand.
kind of look at your face in a sort of probably questioning or kind of looking for something sort of manner.
He's trying to read what Kohai is feeling or thinking.
Which would make sense based on us saying that Kohai probably would react more non-verbally to him rather than verbally.
And also Kohai has said nothing since you can hold me.
Yeah, very much.
Since, hold me, hold me.
Except, and then now he's just like, how
are you? Let me check in.
He's like, here I am, an inch from your face, and
I will check in.
how are you?
I have hesitated. I have not kissed the side of your face. I have just run my face along it with the utmost of restraint, my lips just grazing your cheekbone. And then I will pull back and
then
release.
he says, God, I have observed that your breathing
has changed.
Has gotten a little lighter. Like, you're not breathing deeply anymore.
Nope.
Are you all right?
Your
You're
breath
like, my
is
dude, you
coming
are,
quickly.
like, teasing my skin with your face. What the fuck you want? And he'd be like, wait a minute, am my arms squeezing too much?
Is it
Too much squeeze?
Over squeeze?
And of course, he, without us responding at all, he just slightly lets go.
He releases a bit.
Yep.
So that the hold is gentler.
And then, I'm like...
And then he starts to sort of tickle your back with his
running
hands,
down your flesh.
moving around on it very softly.
And your
And
character
Kohai
inside is just like, yep, my whole heart box is just like...
is a bit stiff, is a
tense.
bit cramped, is a bit
Ooh.
Charlie horse
Ah.
inside of me.
And then, of course, there's this sort of... I think this is more like a joking admonishment while he's murmuring next to you, still of being like, oh my God, you know what I did? Like, the first thing that I've done is that, like, I have put you in danger, and now I have tried to murder you with my arm hold.
Yes,
I am a bad person,
oh my gosh,
in a joking way.
I put you in a very
stranglehold.
dangerous situation, and now I am trying to suffocate you. Oh dear, what the heck?
What jokes?
And he basically just does the, oh no,
And then he actually lets you go, it seems like a lot more, and flops back down into the pond?
Yeah, he
Question
goes
mark?
down into the pond a bit deeper.
With that really drama.
Yes,
into the
hand
water.
to forehead. Oh, woe is me.
Yep.
And so,
Actually, it doesn't. So, it goes...
So the thing is
Because
you
there's
should know.
such a significant difference between this part of your body higher up on your rib cage compared to where your hips are.
So it is specifying that when he was holding and wrapping around your spine and your shoulder blades, that it really was up that high. Like at your shoulder blades. There was no contact with the middle of you, where your navel is or where things curve in.
Right.
It was all way up there. And now that he has slid into the water lower, his arms are now around your mid portion.
And the side of his face is just in titty heaven.
Just leaning into
chesticle
into
heaven.
the boobs.
Into the McTiddles.
In this case, into the boobs.
Into the titties. The tibiddies. The hubiddies.
And the
And
picture
now-
does not agree at all with his head just being nestled in Kohai's tits.
Yeah, not even slightly. They just give you Asra's tits for compensation.
It just shows him reclining against the the rock, I assume.
Yep.
And his shirt being damp, and his Faust scarf is gone.
Yeah, it's totally
We are
gone.
correct that he left it hanging out at the edge of the cave for them.
Actually, it might be right there. What is the weird...
No, that's rock.
Oh God, that's the shadow of the rock cracks.
That's the rock.
Oh God!
This is a beautiful marbled rock.
Oh yeah, that's a pretty rock. Anyway, he's just like...
He's also partially
God.
out of his jacket as well, because he has the scarf, jacket, and shirt.
And also, we actually get full wet t-shirt contest Asra here.
Yes.
Which, again, like I've said before, actually, due to the type of probably content that they would probably have available, his shirt would never do that.
Funny enough, in this premium art fancy picture, He's got like seriously black eyelashes with little like light highlights around the edges.
I know! I've actually always thought that was one really interesting detail about Asra, is everybody apparently that I kept running to going, he have white eyelashes. I'm like, why did they keep giving him black ones then?
He wear a lot of mascara, but we are the MC, we do not acknowledge it. We just know they're white under there.
Well, those are his choices.
It's like when your friend dyes their hair green and you just say, yeah, they're my blonde friend. Because, you know their hair's blonde under there.
And the other person looks at you and goes,
what?
There's no one in here with blonde hair.
And so Asra, in his glorious shirt way.
He's like, well, the reason that I did this is clearly because it's been such a long time since I got the big frighten.
The big frighten.
Uh-huh.
We gave him the big frighten.
And then he, again, the soft admonishment of going like, God, I'm supposed to be cool as senpai.
I'm just supposed to be chilled out. I'm supposed to be relaxed at all times. He's like, if I don't maintain emotionlessness, then I'm just not doing it right.
Right, pretty much. And he's just acknowledging, he just like, oh my God, I didn't even think before I fucking threw myself into danger. What the fuck,
Before I yeeted into the pond.
And, of course, because he is in full-on titty area, just like smashed in there, he just like, your heart rate is like doing things for me. It's calming me down like, whoa.
But he's saying, I require your pulse in my ear to calm down.
I'm surprised you can hear that through my tibidis.
It's okay.
Because tibidi is not the same as like where rib cage is. Like trying to listen to
Perhaps
someone's heart.
He has parted them and is in the middle.
Oh.
Punk.
Oh, so he's doing the motorboat gesture.
Not if his head sideways.
Oh, that's true. But
you're doing the Dr. Stethoscope thing, but with his ear.
Okay.
All right, so he then he decides not to leave his ear against Kohai.
You have such excellent fucking
but
timing.
Instead,
he just puts his face into the crevasse, the canyon.
So, if you had a character with very small, aesthetically popular titties, then it would not be a big deal for him to be like, I am putting my nose on, in this case, what would be your sternum, and it would be relatively non-affected by anything like cleavage or breast tissue. And I have been a person with really small titties like that in many parts of my life. And so the thing is like, you really can, like, there's space, but in Kohai's case, there is not. So, what he has done...
the fact of going, like, Kohai tends to wear stuff that actually will hold their boobs, to support the boob, because that's what corsets were also for, though I don't know exactly if Kohai has a corset, but still, like, they have clothing that supports them, so you're really going to have to work to get to sternum.
So he just rolls and puts his nose and his mouth and his forehead between the titties into the cleavage.
And he puts his lips as close as he can to your sternum, basically.
Yep, and he just nuzzles his face right in there to go nimwa.
Or just lightly go tease at it with it. And he is breathing really, really hotly, by the way. Like,
and you're just like, wow, it's getting sweaty between the titties.
You're like, I'm already wet, so who cares?
Now, I wasn't thinking anything particularly evocative when it was like, hey, Kohai should have larger breasts. It was just diversity.
No, it
hadn't had that yet.
Yeah, so the thing is so nerd, body type-wise, was actually supposed to have more of, I think, what was it? We talked about, like...
It was a medium androgynous build, so they were soft.
But, like, I'm trying to think, like, triangle-ish more shape? Like, it starts at a point and then kind of comes down, so more of a triangle-ish kind of shape?
Rectangle.
More rectangle?
More rectangle, but with a little bit of soft padding, yeah. So very soft, maybe pear shape, but extremely subtle. Yeah.
And then, cortisone is like shoulder.
Is a twig with shoulders.
Yeah, is twig shoulder.
Shoulder twig.
And then, specifically, Kohai here has your much bigger apple figure, I would probably say.
Mm-hmm. I was gonna say has a bit of curve, but mostly it's just a larger, softer.
Yeah, because there's no actual
build.
like. I think the thing is we talked about we didn't actually want like a hip.
There's not an hourglass build.
There's no hourglass.
You do have a distinctive like sort of like differences in like the various. I don't know, there's folds and rolls. They're cute.
They are. I like them. It's just being specific here. This is why this makes this very funny, though, because I'm like, you were assuming the character was this big.
You are assuming the character does not have large tits in this scene, and it's really different when they do.
Yeah, pretty much. And then him just murmuring into your tibidis about going, God, the things I would do for the heart sound, for the fluttering, pulse, for the pulse.
The drumming,
God,
the thrumming.
The thrumming of your heart.
It just pleases me so. I adore it.
This sound is music to my ears.
All right, so Kohai has trouble keeping their breath.
Actually, well, because
Because
Asra grips you.
More.
So they're like, as Asra tightens their arms around you.
Asra has face planted in chest, and the wrapping and the squeezing and the holding just goes like up to 100 right now. And then genuinely, instead of just brushing his face and his mouth along you, it just solid kiss. Smooch to the sternum. Solid.
He has
Like,
smashed his face in like damn.
And Kohai feels really excited about this and just lifted and just accelerated and just wow.
I love it. Okay, I'm sorry, I have to do this today. So I'm cackling right now. I'm sorry. I think it's really cute, but it's also very funny to go, yes, here is the text, and he's supposed to be saying these words into your titties, but
and
it's just gonna come out as a...
I'm gonna say, okay, everybody, shove your face into your elbow and speak clearly.
Or into your tibidi if you have shelf tibidi. Do it. It's really fucking funny.
If you have an accommodating friend, just put your face in their chest and try to say, romantic, nothings to them.
And Asra, though, is just like giggling softly into your boobs.
And describing that your heartbeat is increasing.
It's accelerating.
And then he uses his hands down at the base of your spine and just grips the clothing tightly.
That you're wearing. And you're like, I already have shrunken clothing.
The wet, sticking clothes. He just grips them. Fists of clothing to contain his excitement, I can only imagine. Then there is more.
Is this a monster, Asra? I must ask.
I don't know, because it is describing that Asra literally kisses your actual heart. Like the organ.
I mean, you can make an argument. So the only reason I'm doing that is because it adds more entertainment for me. Like, I understand what they're going for. But I'm also just like, Asra is like making out with a pocket that he has made in your chest.
Kinda, yeah. Either that, or really it's just like making out aggressively with your sternum and pretending he's all the way in.
Yeah, he's getting in there. Blah, blah, blah. I've never written monsters doing erotic things with people's bodies.
And while he is in there, just aggressively having the full-on make out with your sternum in your cleavage.
Into your titties.
He just says Kohai.
He just Kohai.
Because Kohai is our name, we can say it.
Yeah, it's true. And then he's like, I need you to... do you even... can you contemplate the occurrence that would come upon me should anything...
Should any harm befall you?
Should I allow any harm to befall you?
Yes.
He's like, because it is specifically about him.
And at this point, Kohai, who's been lost in the sauce, has been just reveling in and overwhelmed by this experience of Asra.
That is still fucking
going to town. There's a level of just sort of fluttering the eyelashes and trying to get your composure back. And then
I'm like, this is a makeout. I don't care, man. This sounds like you are like, I'm gonna push myself.
We bring our gaze back to Asra, and he is suddenly just...
His eyeballs, he's just like looking at...
Super eye contact.
Just steaming gaze, like, whoa.
Right up from your chest.
And now you actually gotta say something. We've got no choice. We gotta see either option A or option B, where the other one is just like, oh my god, it's nice to have you. And the other one is literally going, no, what happened?
Actually, I don't know what would happen. I have no idea. Why don't you tell me? I don't think Kohai is very concerned with what the future might possibly hold if things went poorly.
Right.
But Kohai is very interested in keeping Asra present in moments where they are close together, because that's what they want. They want to be close to Asra.
Okay.
So the answer is going to be that Kohai is just really happy that the two of them are together right now in the space.
Okay, so
and we're going to say that. That just...
Really happy to have you.
I'm just really glad that we are like this here.
Poor Kohai going
immediately.
I don't know how to breathe right now.
It's so really good. It's nice. And he's super not able to breathe either.
No, there's just a lot of panting running along. He's still head in boobs. Yeah, that's all I have to say.
And just panting down in the cleavage.
Yeah, he's doing the same thing. He's going, Yep.
Really
happy.
Excellent. Good.
Yes, he murmuring to your titties.
100. A+. Would do again.
And he is bright fucking red now. And he's just like, well,
I would.
So,
Yeah, do you comprehend? Do you understand? Do you have this
and
knowledge?
now, like, since you're just staring at him in your titties as he's trying to look away from you.
Okay, I need you to imagine really quick. So you're like 2/3 in the water, right? So your body is up to the waist. The MC's body is up to the waist in the water, and he's up to like his chest, like up to his nipples in the water, right? You are laid back across this rock sexually, like a romance novel, and he is holding you, arms wrapped around your waist, and head just nestled in the titties, and he's looking up at
He's like,
you
I am surrounded.
intensely, while you cock your head down intensely to be able to see him between your tits. And this is the romantic, sparkling, glittering pose. You back up, you pan away, and look at how beautiful it is. The light glittering through the caves, the dust motes everywhere. It's so lovely. The crystals glowing.
This is deeply horrid, just so you know. Like, even if I was just going to read this in a very straight, like, non-playful way, this is deeply horny.
So then, he's
Which,
got,
no shame.
he has difficulty keeping eye contact. And
then
just
apparently Kohai going, no. Somehow me grasping for his little,
the base of his face.
the base of his face is going to make his eyeballs, which were the only thing that moved, to not look at you, look back at me. So you're sort of like in between my titties somehow. I gotta work my arm up over my own boobs and somehow finagle my fingers.
It's describing that basically his eyeballs just go a different direction, but you'd grab his entire face to force him to look at you. This is what happened.
This is what happens.
And then Kohai is like, you are going to check that I know a thing. Would you just elaborate, please? But very, very shortly. Like, let me just suggest you say again what you were saying.
I'll repeat it back to you, intensely being like,
do you know? And
that thing.
Do you know what?
And he's like, never mind me. He's like, I'm older than this.
I'm not sure.
I'm amateur. Demo.
However,
you need to understand, Senpai is not always going to be around.
Someday I will likely not be with you.
And actually, he's basically the truth. He'd be like, it will be difficult. Understanding that I'm not going to be around at a time that you would desperately need to have me around.
Yes. Someday, when you in your hour of greatest need, when no one is there to help you, neither shall I be. And you must be prepared.
And then he's just like, and it will be my fault, clearly, because it will be some place where I specifically plopped you there, or a place that I went, this is a good place. It will be a lie, and it will be a time when I suddenly am not around.
Yep, and he's just being like, all the things that I have shown you in all the places I have ever told you to go.
What the absolute fuck? He's in the water. So somehow we pull him out of our boobies and we flop him onto the rock and we sit on his hip area.
And we just sit on his thighs.
And wonk his face further back into our tibitties.
I was gonna say, we hug him aggressively the way he's been hugging us. So, remember that scene that I just described a second ago, which is everything we've read so far?
Yeah.
Now, instead, we have somehow moved him into sitting position, even though he was on top of us, and put ourselves on top of him, and now we are wrapping our arms around him while we look into his face in that cute little way like you sit on Santa's lap.
Yeah, pretty much.
And then,
And then apparently, like, this seems to be now I have his ear where he can't take it away from me, so I can say something to him, is what that kind of sounds like.
I will say it so directly that he cannot change the subject.
I have now been ground upon, and there's been lots of making out with, I'm gonna suddenly lose it and just blab, be like, so stay!
Nope.
No, so stay!
I was gonna say.
Yeah, I don't know, just be
it's
here.
Okay. Kohai is just like,
so be here.
If you are going to not be here, and that will be a problem, be here. Kohai, I will sit my hips upon yours aggressively. Then don't go away. And he looks stunned. Stunned in all ways.
And oh my god,
Kohai decides it is smooching time.
Which happens, and he just again fucking loses it. He cannot breathe.
He goes into shakes and gasps and spasms of restraint and overwhelm.
And I have to say, again, with this description of body rubbing against body without basically any amount of tension means that this is turning into
resistance.
Yeah, no resistance.
It's very slick.
Yes, but it's like, this is way more sexual.
Yeah, there's a lot of specifically description of slick movement against each other in this position described. And then also it's very attractive because it is done with elegance.
Touches.
The touches are done with
And
elegance.
apparently, Asra is reacting in time to the kisses. Yeah, uh-huh.
So the two of them are in sync the way they are just sucking face.
I imagine there's more going on than just sucking face. That seems
And
reasonable.
the other parts of the body slickly moving against each other. This sounds really intense.
This says like you are in the
And it
water
also says
volume.
you are doing this intense, frictionless movement together with your faces sealed upon each other until you ultimately just burst apart
and break.
from the embrace. And then
Kai somehow has enough word left.
as they burst apart because they have
Be like,
achieved
stop being old.
arrived at a place. It's
Basically,
just like,
you get wrinkles on your face from the amount of concern you have.
you know what,
You have too much
Asra,
concern.
your brain does all the overthinking all the time. Okay?
Okay.
Just so
Asra is bright fucking red.
you know.
And he's like, yeah.
I don't mean to be a downer.
I'm so sorry to be depressing.
You should not be. You're...
He's like, and then he kind of smiles, like normally going, so when we're going back, I will make it better. I'll fix the problem that clearly have caused on when we return back on our return trip.
I will repay this discomfort and this clear, like, mishandling of you by doing something great as we return.
You just had sex.
That is what I'm getting. And
Yeah.
it's always like, the what?
Character, we're going where?
Yeah.
We're returning home? What's that?
Character is like, we're not going to stay in this place in this moment for the rest of eternity. I forgot the rest of reality existed.
Exactly.
That is exactly what Kohai is. The journey.
And then Kohai's
plot.
actually going, I really don't want to look too.
I don't want to
more of the ridiculous windy wind holes that we
I
have found our way.
don't want to go in this cave anymore. I don't
My
want-
legs are trembling.
Not into it, not out of it. I don't want to cave anymore.
I just stay.
I just done.
Stay? And he's just like, don't be concerned.
Yeah.
You're like, oh my god, I can totally see it. Stop it.
Worry not.
Worry not, please.
He feels so much better, it seems. He seems to be so much better.
I wonder what it is.
I was to say, my only guess is to agree with my friend, even though fully clothed, that he has had an experience of completion, shall we say, because all of his shaking and shuddering and blushing and intensity and overwhelming of breath is resolved. He seems very afterglow.
You guys, I gotta tell you, you can still make out and have sex with someone even if you don't take your clothes off.
Even if you don't do any of the yeah.
It doesn't have to look like that. Sex can actually look like a wide range of things.
Wide range.
Wide.
Anyway.
And then he's just like, he just have an arm that is
Around
just like
us?
encircled around you, and then he just like waggles his head at the cavern around.
Indicates our surroundings.
And he's like,
Oh, this is it.
yeah, see it now?
This is actually the end of the premium scene. Woohoo! Look at this nonsense. That cute eyeball thing is adorable.
I
With the
love
little
it.
Flappers.
Look at this, look back here!
Look at the critters.
Wow.
I don't want to tap, but there's so many critters here. There's like
I want to show them all to you.
there's like one up across the top in the middle that's got little leggies. That's really cute. And then there's one tiny one down on one of the lily pads. Oh, two of them. Two on the lily pads. And one's more to the left, one's more center.
Six-legged lizard again is back.
Phew.
Bless you.
Pardon. And then there's this really cool thing that is like front and to the right. It's got a big eyeball and lots of flappers and little spikies.
It looks like a astral lamprey,
It's very pretty.
just with his teeth on the outside.
I was gonna say, yeah, there's a little bit of that.
Anyway.
Everything has changed. I was so wrapped up with him, I didn't even see. The
Yes.
cave is also excited by your excitement.
Yes.
That was very spicy. Based on the various scenes that we have read throughout this, like all of our playthroughs, that was spicy.
Holy fuck.
So, damn, bro.
Anyway, we're out of time.
We are so out of time. Hopefully you had an entertaining and a good time with that all around.
Absolutely.
I laughed my butt off.
So, thank you very much, everybody, for joining us as Asra nuzzled his way through our flesh and into our heart.
Into our chest cavity. No.
Literally. And if you like what we do, please feel free to like, comment, subscribe. Also, please share our videos. If you like what we do, please interact. It actually does a lot for us in regards to the YouTube algorithm. Please also feel free to go check out our Ko-Fi, Patreon, and our Twitch. There are some links that we would love to see you at. And I have been Scandal.
And I don't even know what the premium art looks like yet because we've been avoiding spoilers,
We
to cover up art.
So
And
this
I'm
is
gonna
gonna
look
be
at it
great.
after this, but I'm also just like, I have no reason to believe that Draconisha would have done faceplant and boobs, but it would be so funny.
Honestly, I would have died laughing. This will be great to see
Yep.
what our lovely artist has rendered. So again, if you're ever curious, the artist has actually been doing the art before we ever see it, and before usually we've ever recorded it. And they don't know what we're talking about, and we don't know what they've done. So if you ever feel like there's weird incongruous stuff, that's totally on purpose, and you should laugh, because that means that we have different interpretations, and those are fun.
And it's so good because it's 3 different people interpreting the stuff together and then sharing, and it's really fabulous. And we had some really good laughs afterwards going, here's what we got on the scene, and then going, oh my god, this is what I did. And it's been really good. And I have been Lies. And it was great playing with you. Bye!